Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of just another one of these starter decks. So we have a blue deck this time. It's new, it's different, and we got a lot of changes. If you saw the last two episodes, you know what I'm talking about. The first one was like red compared to the first red, which has a lot of similitudes, but it also has a lot of differences, right? And there's nuance in everything. Some cards were better, some cards were worse, some cards just depended on what you are valuing as better. But yeah, it was pretty balanced and the cost was the same. But in this case, it's not the same at all. So I'm going to start off by saying the deck has a lot of cards that are different, but it still follows some patterns. So it's the same deck, but there's a caveat. So the reason why I want to make this video is because I want to show you the deck, but also I want to show you the differences. For example, in other games, like I was telling you in the previous video, is the deck worth buying? Like, is it something that maybe you wanted to, maybe not, maybe it's good, maybe not, maybe it's not worth it, maybe it is worth it. How can we tell? There's three things we have to look at. The first thing we looked at on the previous video was the leader. Is it the same or not? It's the same, actually. The second thing we have to look at is whether the cast is the same. Is it the same deck with different effects, or is it different people with the same effects? That would be terrible. Or the last part is going to be, is the deck just literally the same cards, and is it reprinted, or is it the same old, or is it a new set of cards, completely new? So they could be new cards but just be different names, same effects, or they could be old cards just reprinted like Magic does, like some other card games do. Then there's some commander cards in a new deck, like 3 out of 99. That's terrible in my opinion, but hey, that works. On the other hand, in this game it's a bit different. Same with Yu-Gi-Oh! It's going to be different cards. Now in Yu-Gi-Oh! You don't get card repeats. It's very rare that you do. So you have to buy, you should have 3 times the starter deck, so you have 3 or 4 if it was this case, right? But it's not, right? In the case of this, it looks a lot more like a Pokemon deck because there's multiple of the same cards. So there's going to be these 15 cards repeated 5 times. Okay, so you can choose from there to get a, I guess, a 60 card deck, right? No, actually, that's, wait, 45? Oh, because they're not repeated 5 times. They are repeated either 4 or 2. So it's an average of 3. 15 times 3 is 45. I think it's 50 cards. Yeah, because there's, the majority is prints of 4, not prints of 2, and there's no 3 print. Yeah, let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 cards. So it's going to be 40 and then 20, 60. There it is. Okay, so yeah, you get a 60 card deck with a leader, and let's check out the leader first and foremost. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is read it and check out the same stats. You can see it's actually going to be foily on both of them. Really foily. This is the Awakened, and it says draw a card for both of them, typical. And then active main once per turn on both. The old one just says if you have 7 power or fewer cards in your hand, no, 7 or fewer cards in your hand, that's whatever, that's it. This card gets plus 15 power for the turn. Okay, now in the new card, the mini Vegeta, you have a pay 1, switch this specified number of energy to rest mode. So pay 1 energy, whatever. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost 1 or less and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. So you can just pay 1 and do that once per turn in your main only. Okay. I guess it's specifying this payment as a cost, like in the cards here or here. The cards payment, which would be like a mana sink effect in Magic, which in Yu-Gi-Oh terms this is like unheard of, right? But it's like Magic or Pokemon terms, right? That's what I've been telling you guys. It's all games are a mixture and knowledge transfer from each to the other. Okay, this is more to do with 7 or fewer cards in your hand. This has more to do with, let's actually move something from one place to the other. What was it? Battle cards. Place it at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so pay 1 and just tuck it. Okay, it just goes down. That's actually really strong. Okay, but I feel like this Vegeta is actually a good card too. It's not a bad thing at all. On the other hand, let's keep going with the deck. And I actually have the 2 piles here to compare and contrast them. They're actually the same situation, so they're printed at the same rate. So I feel like there's one missing. Oh, that's weird. What is the one missing card? What would that be? That's so strange. Very weird. Anyways, that's fine. We can deal with it later. Is this it? No. Okay, we can deal with it later. So we have Vegeta. So if we compare it, we have this Vegeta here, right? So let's actually read them all first, okay? I'm just gonna go through. First off, we have Vegeta here. DA, I don't know what DA is. I really don't know what that means, but it's a 35k battle with 0 on the side. It's a double strike. And on play, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards that costs 3 or less and place it at the bottom of the owner's deck, okay? Like this one. So goes hand in hand, right? Then if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, draw 1 card. Like this one. Goes hand in hand. Interesting. It's a little bit of both, right? Let's keep going though. Let's keep going. We have Krillin. Says if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and reduce it by cost 1 for the rest of the turn. That's 7 or fewer, like this guy. It's actually a 4 cost, 30k with 5k on the side. And then we have the Android 18. 20k, 3 costs with 10k on the side, and it says permanent opponent's turn. If you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, this card gets plus 10k, and on the play, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. Life loss. I don't know how to feel about that. Let's see. It's a good draw, but still life loss. Then we have this Marone. Says it's cost 1, 5k, and what is this? 5,000 on the side. And then it says on play, if you have 7 or fewer cards like this guy, look at the top card of the deck and place it at the top or bottom of the owner's deck, then draw 1 card. Okay, so this reduces cost, this buffs, this removes, and then draw 1 card, and then this is draw 1 card and also removes. Now look at the top, place at the top or bottom. So scry, draw, remove, draw, cost reducer, and they're all draw. Very interesting. And they all go along really well with this. Interesting. Very interesting. But let's keep going. We have the Hercules Mini DA. Don't know what DA means, but it's a 10k for 2, and it's also got 10 on the side, and it's a blocker. Our first blocker here. And on play, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and reduce its cost by 1. Why do we want to reduce the cost of an opponent's battle card? I don't get that. By 1 for the turn. Okay, let's keep going. Then we got the Majin Buu Mini 20k, cost 2, 10k on the side. It says on the play, add 1 from your life to your hand. Add 1 card. Again, like this one. I don't know. It's a good one. I don't know if I would do this, but yeah, place it at the top or bottom of its owner's deck afterwards. Look at the top card afterwards. Okay, then we got our super combo card. Same situation as always. And then we have a Bulma on play. Bulma Mini costs 2 for a 5k power with a 10k on the side battle. It says on play, look at 2 cards on the top of your deck, add 1 card to your hand. Yeah, then place the rest at the bottom of the owner's deck. It's a good deck. It's a good draw. It's fine. It's like a scry draw. Yeah, double scry, then draw 1. Really good. Then our usual cantrip, which is gonna be a cost 1, 5k with 5k on the side. On play, draw 1 card for Trunks Mini. Okay, now we have the difference cards. These cards make a big difference, which are going to be Piccolo Mini. This costs 3, and it's a 20k and 10k on the side. It says choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and reduce its cost by 1 for the turn. Then if your opponent has a battle card with cost 2 or less, draw 1 card. That's why Hercules wants to lower or reduce the cost, but nothing else is actually interested in cost of cards. Oh, the Vegeta is thinking of cost 3 or less. So this guy reduces for all these 2 guys. So 4 cards with 4 card reduction. Ooh, and then, yeah, the Mai also is the same thing. Let's go one by one. Son Goku, 3 cost, 25k for a 10k on the side. Vanilla Son Goku, it's fine, whatever. Cyan Blue, cool. Then we have Mai from the future, and it's a 5k with 10k on the side for a 1 cost. It says on the play, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and reduce the cost by 1 for the turn. Okay, so yeah, this cost reduction is something that's a theme around here, right? So we got 4 cards that reduce cost, or they 1 cost reduced. Does this guy care? Cost 1 or less. Yeah, this guy cares too. So these are definitely cost reducers for this guy. And then these other cards are like, look at the top 7 are for this guy. Interesting. It's modular. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's keep going. We have this guy, then we read Mai, and finally we have a reprint. By the way, this Videl, that's the second caveat. First caveat, second caveat is a reprint. We have Videl and we have Son Goten as a reprint. So it's only 2 cards in the whole deck, which are 4 and 4 out of the 60. That's what, less than 20% of the deck that's a reprint. So that's actually a pretty good ratio. So everything else is new cards, right? So if you look at it as new card percentage, out of the 16 cards there, 2 of them are old ones. So 14 out of 16 is new. So that's a really good amount of ratio. And then we have left the the extra cards. We have Proud Saiyan, cost 1, and it says active battle. In the opponent's turn, your cards that are in battle get plus 20k. Nice. And then if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, draw 1 card. That's a really good deck. A really good deck mechanic. Yeah, there's nothing else to say about this. Pretty good. Then we have Vegeta's battle armor. Says cost 1, active main, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and reduce its cost by 1 for the end of turn. Kind of like this guy. So 1 is this guy, 1 is for this guy. That's crazy how this deck is being split up, huh? Pretty cool though. Pretty cool. Now that's gonna be it. And now let's compare it. Let's compare it. Key differences that we had before. Here we have this guy, Vegeta DA. This guy. If we compare it to the previous one, the play is almost the same. Choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards with, and then the new one says cost 3 or less and place it at the bottom. This one said cost 4 or less, place it at the bottom. So this has more range for the cost. But this one says then if you have 7 or fewer cards, draw 1 card. Okay, so this wants to do that draw. This one wants to do the choosing with cost. So this guy actually is more likely to go into this deck, and this one is the same amount of likely to go into that deck. Pretty darn interesting. Okay, let's keep doing that. Okay, we have now Krillin compared to Gotenks. So in this deck we have a different cast. That's a third caveat. So we didn't have Krillin in the old deck, but we had Gotenks and we had the Goten and we had Gohan. In this deck we don't have Gohan, we don't have Gotenks, and we don't have 2 other, it's Trunks Youth and Gohan Youth, something like that. And Goten Youth, I don't know. But then we have here Krillin, Bulma, Hercule, and Mai. That's the difference. Oh no, it's not Bulma, it's Marone. But yeah, those are gonna be the four guys. Everything else is the same characters. Pretty good, pretty good. 4 out of the 16, no, it's not 16, it's gonna be 14. 4 out of the 14 characters are repeated. Technically, if you count this, it's not 13. 14, it's 13. And then what else? Yeah, 13. So 13 characters, 4 of them are new. We have a 30k versus 25k, but then 5k is the same, cost is the same. The only difference is this guy and this guy both care if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, but this one chooses 1 of the opponent's battle cards and reduces it by cost. This one says add up to 1 Son Goten and 1 Trunks Youth. Both of them cost 2 or less from the drop to your hand. So this one definitely is going to be staying with those youth guys. And yeah, that's gonna be it. Son Goten and the Trunks Youth, they have to stay with this guy, which is gonna be a Gotenks. Makes sense. Then this guy wants to stay here. So fewer cards in hand have nothing to do with this guy, but cost reduction has to do with that guy. Therefore, stays here. Pretty cool. Let's keep going. Next one we have is going to be Android 18. So this time it's the same cost. It's also the same power, but the sideways is different. It's actually going to increase by 10. However, you can see it's a clear power creep because it says permanent and then on your turn versus on your opponent's turn. And then one has 15k plus and the other one has 10k plus. So 15 plus 5, 20. Then this is 10 plus 10, 20. Great. But then this one also says play, add 1 card from your life to your hand. So this is going to be a better card, strictly better, just due to the fact that it also draws you on top of everything else. Okay, so that trade-off does not merit a whole draw, but the draw takes away a life from you. That's the actual trade-off, life per draw. But the fact that you can actually draw on that card is actually a really good one. Next up, what we have here is going to be the Marone, and the reason why I chose Marone there is because the effect was similar. So here you have, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, look at the top card of your deck, replace it, and then draw a card. This guy says if you are 7 or more, add 1 extra from your drop to your hand. So it was a 7 or more that made me wanna leave it there. Okay, however, the comparison unfair would then be 20k to 5k, 1 to 3, and then 5 to 5, and then on play. But you could actually compare this card to this card instead of the Marone to this card instead. So now it keeps the same stats, same cost, and then the on play is going to be different. So this one says 7 or fewer, and this one says cost reduction, which means this one goes to the other deck. Great, same thing was going to happen, but this one is a cost reduction for this guy. So they are where they belong. So cards here, as you can see, they are diverging in cost now, because it used to be 5 4 3 3 2 2 7 1 1 and then 4 3 2 1. Here we got 3 3 1 1. See, lowered. and then this lowered 2, and then this lowered 2, and then these 2 stayed. So this raised? No, this is actually the same. So this lowered, these lowered, or this one lowered, and this one lowers. That's a lot of down costing. So this deck has a lower cost or card cost average, which means that you can play more cards. And as you can see, this deck wants to draw a whole lot. So that means that whenever you draw, you're going to be more likely to play more cards over time, which means you're gonna thin your deck, or you're gonna go over your deck, which means you're gonna get to play more cards, which means you're gonna get to play out your deck way more. That's not a good thing. Then we have here the Hercule versus the Son Goten. That's the one we were talking about. So this one is a blocker. This one says on play, and it says 15k to 10k. Both are cost 2, both are 10 on the side. But then this one says while attacking, if you have add up to 1 from your life to your hand, then if you have 7 or fewer. See, so that 7 or fewer thing is something that the old Vegeta wants, but the down costing is the one that the new Vegeta wants. That's pretty cool, and they've kept it consistently. You can use both and both. So then it says add up to 1 from your blah blah blah. Then if you have 7 or fewer cards, choose up to 1 opponent's battle cards with cost 2, return it to the owner's hand. So this also wants to do return like this one, but doesn't really need a cost reduction. It's just wanting that cost 2 or less. Cost reduction would help it though. So this guy can actually go on both. On the other hand, the Hercule literally says choose the 1 cost and reduce it. So this guy helps out this guy. Maybe they could be like separate, different. I don't know. After that, we have the other guy, which is going to be Majin Buu, and then the Trunks. And on play, at 1 card to your hand. This guy says the same thing. Add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. See, so this is now like the android here, but they're not comparable. They're not. And what else? Plus 10 power if you have 7 or fewer cards. So this guy wants to be in the old Vegeta. This guy says top card, look at the top card and place it at the top or bottom of its owner's deck, kind of like what the new Vegeta wants. So old Vegeta, new Vegeta. On the previous one, both could go on both. Okay, then what we have here is the second reprint. Oh, first reprint? I don't know. Yeah, so the first reprint is gonna be this one. So actually I got a foil one from this pack, so I'm gonna open this pack on the after I finish everything. But yeah, on the previous episode that was blue, it was actually this one, so pretty foily. The other one was regular. And then we have a Bulma, so 5k cost has increased, so 1k, and this is a blocker. It's more comparable to this one. This is a blocker, but on play, this one says look at the top 2 cards from your deck, add 1 to your hand, place the rest at the bottom. This one just says blocker, so it's increasing in cost to counter the fact that the other ones were reducing in cost, because this one should have been a 2, this should have been a 2, this should have been a 4, this should have been a 2. See, so that's an increase that this Bulma doesn't get to block, but this guy blocks, therefore this has to be a 2 cost instead. It's not very fair. Like 4 went down, 1 went up. That's weird. Anyways, yeah, so it's still a draw. So the whole deck wants to draw. That's not necessarily a 1-to-1 ratio. That's strange. And finally, we have the Trunks doing the same thing. So 5k and 5k on the side, 1 cost, on play, draw 1 card. So the same card here. Then we get the biggest differentiators, okay? So we had Son Goku, which was right here, but now it's gonna be a 4 cost. We're going to compare it to the Piccolo, okay? So loses cost, loses power, but it gains an effect of choose one of your opponent's battle, reduces cost by 1. Then if it's cost 2 or less, draw a card. See, so it gives you reduction and it gives you draw, and then it helps this guy in exchange for cost reduction and power reduction. See, so it's effect versus sheer power. So that's gonna be the comparison. On the other hand, we have Son Goku and Gotenks. So cost 3, 25k, 10k on the side, the same card. Therefore, the other Son Goku is not as comparable to this one as it is to this one. That's gonna be it. And then we have the My Future comparable to the Majin Buu. You could also compare the other Majin Buu instead. It's like, oh, it's strictly better. Yeah, you could say that, but it's not necessarily the case. It doesn't seem like, at least. Maybe you could compare this and change this one. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's the case. And finally, the second reprint, which is Gotenks, Son Goten, and Son Goten. Same card even. Okay, now let's talk about the extras. We got Proud Saiyan, and we had before the Final Flash. The only difference is cost reduction. And then this one says active main, active battle. This one says active main. So this is permanent. If you have 7 or fewer, it's reduced by 1. So it's actually the same cost. This is what this whole deck wants to do on the older one. But this is the new card. So it says the same thing. If you have 7 or fewer cards, draw 1 card instead of cost is reduced. And then this one does 20k power, battle buff. so plus. But then this one, the older one, says discard one card from your hand and choose one of your opponent's cards, battle cards, so it costs 5 or less, place it at the bottom, kind of like what this guy's trying to do. It feels like this guy goes in the old deck and this guy goes in the new deck, so these could be swapped. I think this is the first time that we can do that, swap them instead. And then the last card is going to be the Vegeta's Battle Armor versus Gallic Gun. Both cost 1. Active main on the new one, choose up to one of your opponent's cards, reduces cost if you have a Vegeta, draw one card. On the other hand, the older one said choose a leader up to 1 or up to one of the battle cards and gets plus 15k. Then if you have 7 or more, draw one card. So both are card draws and some other situational stuff. So this reduces the cost, stays here. This is meant to be here, but this one is meant to be on the other one, 7 or fewer. See, yep, that's pretty straightforward. I think they are pretty much where they belong, the majority of them, but the cost reduction is big. Also, the cost differences are a lot, and the mechanics is the main thing that changed. So they should have balanced the cost around that, maybe balance cost to power while still keeping the effects the same, because if you swap out the 7 or less for the other one, then you can have one deck be 7 or less, the other one not have any, but then you would lose support. So it feels like all the cards that are 7 or less in your hand should go to the old Vegeta, and all the cards that are cost reduction should go to the new Vegeta. And that way you got two different decks that are very balanced. It feels like might not be the truth. Maybe you can make a bigger deck under this guy because he's removal, and it doesn't matter because everything else that's cost reducer helps. Or what you could do is take out all the cost reduction stuff, which is only 5 cards, and then put everything that's at 7 or less on the old deck and put it onto this new one, and that way you can just keep the old Vegeta. You could do that and keep all the cards there together and work with the ratios. You could do that. That also works. On the other hand, we have the other characters, which are going to be the Trunks, Future, Goku Black, and Zamasu Fuse. They all do the same thing, draw a card, and then 4 life or less, draw and flip. This one is only 4 less, draw and flip, but there's no regular draw. It's critical the whole time, and on your turn gets 5k, broken. And then the other one says draw 1 card and awaken at 3. Now all 3 say the same thing except for this guy. These 2 draw 1 card whenever attacking, and once per turn, this guy costs 3 or less, return it to its owners, and wanting to go the same route as this guy. Both are once per turn. This requires cost 3 or less, return to hand. This is cost 1 or less, and place at the bottom of the deck. So maybe if an opponent is running unplay cards, this one is better, the new one. But this Future Trunks would be better if the opponent doesn't play on play cards a lot. If it's regular, if it's like permanent stuff and you're removing the effects. If it's like critical double strike that they want to keep a blocker, then this is a better way to go. This one is not strictly better. Interesting that it's like their situation. Very cool. On the other hand, this card already had a discard stuff. If your life is 2 or less, add the top card of your deck to your life. Oh, so if this deck wants to draw so much, and this is actually bigger, 25k compared to 20, nice. So there's no buff debuff in this deck though. Red would eat this up in a heartbeat. But yeah, if your life is at 2 or less, so this guy wants to revive you. It's a pretty interesting card if you have a big draw deck. Pretty cool stuff. And then the Goku Black would be place 1 Zamasu from your battle area. We don't have any of those, so this is gonna be a very niche deck. Yep, I'm not even gonna finish reading it. Yeah, so either you go with cost reducers or you go with this guy. Pretty interesting stuff. Next up, what we then have is, and if you saw the first episode of what we could call a second season of the series, I guess, I talked about the 3 decks, the red, blue, and yellow. We have the yellow coming up next. But on red, what we did is we opened the packs on the first episode, and then on red, I chose the red cards that we got on that pack, so check that out if you haven't seen the pack, or you can just wait for the cards now. And all the blue cards, I'm gonna try to add them here, see where they go. Okay, first up, what we have is the Vito. I think that's because we got a foily one, so this is not really a card that we're gonna be talking about. And we have this guy, 3 cost, 25k, Kibito Kai. If we needed a Kai on blue, this would be it, but it's literally the same card and they're vanilla, so this is not better. Then we have a cost 1, 5k, and this says active main, plays this card and 1 Kibito from your battle barrier into the owner's drop and play up to 1 skillless Kibito Kai from the drop. So battle area into the owner's drop from your drop. Why would this be good? So these 2 into into the drop, and then this one. That seems very weak, but it could be a good combat trick. Seems like they go together, not very useful. Now we have another card called Piccolo. One cost 5k and 5 on the side. On play, look at the top 5 cards of the deck, reveal 1 Gotenks or extra like this, and add to the hand and place the rest at the bottom of the owner's deck in random order. So in this case, we don't have Gotenks. We don't have it. So this goes to the first deck. Interesting. Then lastly, play up to 1 Gotenks or Son Gohan Adolescents. Yeah, Adolescents. So this is gonna be for the other deck, the first deck. Feels like this pack 4 actually helped out the starter 1 way more than it started, and then it helped the other starter. Last but not least, we are going to see which bonus pack card we got, and this time it's not open. I'm going to open it with you guys. Actually, this has got an easy tear right here. Wow, I would never do that in my life. Ooh, that was I didn't like that. There we go. And we got a baby Trunks. Trunks Mini. That's pretty cool. So yeah, that's the foil we got. Pretty nice. I like it when we get non-foils, and then on the pack that we get for bonus, we actually get a foil version. It's pretty good. Makes for non-foil cards and foil to be in the market. So we're gonna take this card away, just like we did with the Vito on the previous one. That's going to be it for this episode though. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Do you think this deck's down cost is actually a big impact? Do you think the fact that the deck is still mixed up, it feels like 2 half decks whenever we read one and then the other, then one, then the other. Do you feel like it's a 2 half decks and then the other 2 half decks, and they still make 2/3 of a deck instead of actual half for 2 whole decks if you split them up? Or do you think it would make like a better, less ratio cards deck and then you have all of them? Let me know about that in the comments. As well as, what do you think is going to happen with the yellow one? Because the yellow one, I think, has a 2 here, right here, right here, right here. They all say 1, so it feels like the rotation is about to change, which could mean none of these cards are suddenly useful. Maybe after set 3, maybe after set 2, maybe it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it'll be 1, 2, then 3, 4, or then 1, 2, then 2, 3, then 3, 4. It could be like that. I don't know what's gonna happen, but that would mean that maybe some cards could get reprinted and some cards don't if they're too troublesome, which would make up for what a ban list does in other games. But yeah, I don't really know if that's gonna happen or not, but regardless, let me know about that in the comment. What do you think is gonna happen? What have you seen? Are you up to date in this deck? Or are you up to date in the meta? Because I am not keeping up to date with the tournament scene. I'm not really looking at anything. I've only seen, like I said, the starters and the leaders, which I really like. The leader idea, the mechanic, and the fact that they can't go in the deck if you choose them as leader, or if you have another leader, you can just have 2. So yeah, let me know about that in the comments. As well as like, share, subscribe, and follow for more. But that's gonna be it for this episode. I'll see you in the next one though. Peace out.